What's good? It's your boy Sheen.
You stayed alone with Swizzy.
And we are jumping into basically the last episode of Band of Brothers. We stand alone together. You know, you guys explained it to us in the comments, interviews from the one and onlys. So can't wait to jump in. Make sure you guys hit that link in the description to our Patreon. Tons of content over there. You guys are definitely missing out. So you should definitely click that link, head over there and sub up, because there's a bunch of things that you guys can catch up on and also jump into some exclusives over there. So if you want to talk about anything under the sun, you can do so within the Discord. So click that link, jump in there and start chit chatting. But without further ado, let's jump into We Stand Alone Together. Let's get it.
Random shell came in. All I remember is a tremendous blast and a flash. And the next thing I knew, I was laying on the ground in the snow. And when I tried to get up, only thing I could see were the broken ends of my legs. The broken part, both femurs were shattered. And they were laying down here as I was in my back trying to raise my legs up. And I thought, I'm dead. I'm about to die. And then the next thing I thought of was my mother. And I thought, what's she gonna say? Because I was an only child.
Industry was a company of men who found themselves at the forefront of the war in Europe. They call them boys Easy Company, and not easy about what they was doing. Nope.
This is when they were showing us in the beginning when they was getting on the plane. Episode 2, I believe. They actually had people with cameras out here getting the footage.
Remember the one episode they was taking pictures and stuff?
Or you gotta get footage of stuff like this, or people are gonna never say it happened.
That man Toy wasn't with it.
War is not pretty, man.
My name is C. Carwood Lipton. I was born in Huntington, West Virginia.
Frederick T. Heiliger.
I was born in a town named Inchelium, Washington.
My name's J.B. Stokes. I was born close to Bonham, Texas.
Born and raised in Columbus, Ohio. Father was worked for this railroad.
My nickname was Babe.
But babe.
She's a little Irish, brother. Red hair.
Born and raised in South Philadelphia.
Philly?
Mom had 10 children, so you had to work to survive. That's what it was. It's just survival in the streets of Philadelphia, that's all.
No cap.
Because we came up in the Depression.
I saw people that really were hungry and had hard times.
We lived on a farm at the time. It was poor. Everybody was poor. That was the Depression.
You know, that $5 a month I made, something like that, you know.
$5 a month.
Pennsylvania Dutch in this particular area
We're
are
winners.
very proud of.
I was the oldest one.
I was married when I was 19 years old in 1941.
The USA is in a war with Japan, and everything just went silent.
Yeah, we definitely gotta watch that.
Said, hell, I don't want to go in no army. I said, well, you're going to have to go sooner or later.
That's a
Something
fact.
was wrong with you if you weren't in the service in those days. It was just what you had to do.
I was going to be in some top kind of a unit, or I wasn't going to be in the Army.
The boy said, if I'm gonna do it, I'm doing it all the way.
Cap.
Sometime in early 1942, about the training that they got and the difficult physical requirements. And I just got interested in...
Nobody forced you to do this. You volunteered that you wanted to do something. You wanted to be with the best.
But once you got in there, you was proud to be. We was proud to be working with the guys we were working with.
You know these people that you're in service with. You know those people better than you will ever know anybody in your life. It comes when you start your training, while that progresses.
I can imagine the PTSD and trauma they got, man.
Each man was like a heavyweight
Get
champion
them
of the world.
knees ready.
Out of 100%, only 10% made
I
it.
thought I was going to die.
We marched 118 miles in 3 days.
The training I got and the men I trained with gave me the confidence to
Boy
go
Bill.
into battle.
We were just a bunch of ordinary kids when we went in, most of us. And a lot of the training was to build you up physically and mentally.
As much as 40 pounds. I weighed about 130. If I'd have lost 40 pounds, I wouldn't have been big enough to stay.
You know, they weeded out
Boy Buck.
so many.
They couldn't keep up with them. You understand? They were good men, but they couldn't take that hard training.
Garnier.
Had to climb this mountain called Currahee every morning, run it up and back. Hurry, as I understand it, means we stand alone together. That's an Indian name.
And it didn't matter how hard they trained
Eugene?
you, how tired you got, you would still go out on your own and run the mountain at night. Or run it during the day. All you did was bitch and moan. At night, you'd get a couple of guys and go up and do it on your own.
Boys was getting right.
All of us coming in from no experience in the Army at all.
The paratroopers of the 101st Airborne Division was as well trained as you could get a soldier to be at that time.
That's why they were sending them everywhere.
Nervous as hell getting on the plane.
You're asking yourself, what the hell am I doing here?
Felt like a bird flying in the air.
Broke my foot on the first one.
You're dropping 16 feet a second.
You didn't want to be afraid, so you kept that out of your mind.
I cannot remember leaving the plane until after the chute opened up.
You get off and you want to go right back on again. Yeah.
It was a high.
There's so many of them that they had in here.
Yeah.
The landing was the hardest part.
Once I got out and the chute opened, I was happy to Lord. I was small too, and I didn't hurt myself when I
I
hit the
know that
ground.
joint hurt. That joint yank you back in the air too, boy.
Worried about most was your chute. Did you pack it right?
You don't pack that right, you get packed up.
Then you were a qualified paratrooper. Got your wings pinned on, became one of the elite members of the parachute.
We were thoroughly prepared. Men were trained, hardened, physically and mentally, and they were ready to jump.
The 15 months of training, he's going to be aboard the transport scenario.
As you pull out of harbor and you pass the Statue of Liberty, will I ever be coming back?
Oh yeah, that was the first episode when they was all in there and they was fighting and stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to be jumping behind the enemy lines. What do you expect? That'll make anybody stand and search his soul for a few minutes.
Oh, Cap, even what you think it's like, nothing like that.
We were ready. We were stationed in England for about a year before D-Day.
They had guards around the marshalling area, so nobody could leave.
You know, some people probably second guess themselves and try to get up out of there.
We knew it by heart. We knew exactly where we were going to go. Knew exactly what to do.
Where the planes were lined up and all the gliders hooked up to the planes.
It's crazy.
Had no idea that there was that much hardware. So there was no question about it. We knew it was going to be big.
Got the orders to get in the planes. This is it.
That's when it got real.
We had confidence in our leaders, all the plans and preparations that had taken place before. We were confident and calm.
That's crazy. This is real footage right here.
We carried everything that we thought we could carry. Personal items, plus the necessary, and we were loaded.
A lot of them were very scared. I was scared too, but probably in a different way that other people were. As long as I was in that plane and they were going to get me there safely out of that plane, that's all that I worried about.
Around, put myself on a plane.
I had no feeling whatsoever. Like I said, my feelings was for my brother who was killed.
Oh yeah, I remember that. He
got that letter.
When I jumped on D-Day, I swore I was going to kill every damn German I came across. And that's why I think they nicknamed me Wild Bill, because I did a lot of killing D-Day.
Take it out on somebody.
At the door of the plane with my head out, and I saw the thousands of craft, ships, everything from LCIs to battleships. And I think that's when I first realized
was going to the
how
beach.
large the invasion was, tremendously large.
And that's when the fireworks started.
Black was terrible. July the 4th celebration, 10 times over.
Then it would hit under the wings and...
You could see tracers all over the place. That's why everybody wanted to get out of the plane as fast as they could.
The prop blasted. It broke this chin strap that we had on this helmet liner. And
They got to be this big, and you keep stuffing everything you can get your hands on. By the time you get done, it's 40 or 50 or 60 pounds. Everyone that jumped with a leg bag or supplies, they lost it.
I was just saying, how was I gonna stay on your leg?
Tore right off because we jumped at speeds of 150 miles an hour.
Oh my
maybe even
God.
higher, I don't know.
Tracer bullets burning holes through the parachute.
Throw that leg out,
Prop blast will hit it, and you're gone. Only I was gone out, and my leg was in. And Paul rolled me out. Paul Rogers rolled me out.
Had to get out. We just wanted to get out so bad.
And I could see the tracers, and they were...
Bro, that hits you?
Spraying around in the air. Whoever the machine gunner was down there that apparently was not a very good shot.
But they were firing in every direction. And that fence had, I'll never will forget it, it had glass on the top of it and cut me up. That didn't bother me. And I got down with my gun.
That's the least of your worries at that point.
Landed and hit the fence?
A friend from Erie was in another plane. When I hit the ground, I hit about 2 feet away from him. Start walking around looking for more of our troops.
No, that's tough.
The Germans everywhere, but we had to hide.
Trench knife and a canteen and about 6 candy bars in my pocket.
4 guys that were with me on D-Day, nothing but a jump knife when they landed. Later on, we run across somebody who had been killed, and that's how you get a weapon for D-Day.
We were scattered all over the peninsula practically.
You literally just gotta do what you gotta do at that point.
I'm surprised they got all this footage, like, person that landed, how'd they land? Like, that boy had to be holding on to the camera.
On those boats, those Germans had those big guns aimed right at them, you know, and just waiting on them. They had it tough. I admire every one of them.
Yeah, that's insane. That beach.
People out of the landing craft were trying to come onto the beach, and they were firing right down on them.
Battery of 105 was placed precisely where it should be to protect that causeway, any troops coming up the causeway. This was laid out exactly right, tactically. The Germans had moved in there and camouflaged us so well, we didn't know it was there.
Realized we only had 12 people. We worked our way down through the farm area. Lieutenant Winters had us set up a firing position.
I could see a trench, and I thought I knew where our machine gun was.
Them boys was well camouflaged, boy. Walked right past them.
And he was able to size up all through the war.
I divided the group into 2 units. Lieutenant Compton was with me. Malarkey. Went to crawl up there and hand grenade that machine gun. And as you throw your grenades, I'll charge up with the rest of the guys.
Stoking this gun and firing it. And so I...
Bro, that shit is huge. That don't land anywhere near you. Lights turned off.
The time it got to them, it went off in the air, and I got one of them.
They had trenches cut in there where they worked, the Germans did. And they jumped down in them trenches, and they worked them Germans like a dose of salt.
I remember this part. That's when the guy ran down in the trench and then
the shrapnel hit him. It was like episode 4.
Yeah, I think so.
And then I saw an arm stuck over that tent and one of those potato masher grenades. And I said, well, he's gonna miss me. And that thing fell right down in that trench with me and went off. And I felt like it blowed my butt over my head. It pretty near did.
I'm sorry, Lieutenant. I'm sorry. I goofed.
I felt like I kind of let them down, but that's neither here nor there.
It's beautiful when you think of a guy who is that dedicated to his buddies, that he apologizes for getting hit. But that's the kind of guy he was, and that's the kind each one of them was. They were all the same.
Apologize for getting hit.
No cat, like,
I feel him, because that's like the first few hours there, it's like, damn, I'm already out.
And maybe if I had been harder, if I had done a little bit better job, there would have been a couple more men going home.
Yeah, that's something he's always going to think about.
Man, you did the best you could, man.
I won respect for officers and man that had jumped with 39. That's about 60.
That's just one of those thoughts that you can never get out your head, though.
On the next phase, I thought I was going to get killed instantly. The chances of survival is very, very slim. Extremely slim.
This is when they was looking for me and...
Edinburgh, Scotland, 1944. Me and Johnny Martin. Drunk as a skunk.
Get a tattoo. We didn't figure we had a chance to come home. We thought, well, hell, the war's just starting. And Christ, we're 50% gone now. It's long haul.
Every time I look down at that John, it's like,
my man,
The replacements for the people who were killed in action or wounded in the Normandy mission.
And for some reason, I don't know why,
Boys wanted to go to war.
they were the first ones killed. And I think maybe they were trying to impress the older guys, maybe people like me or Shifty.
We were in awe of them. They had a star on their jump wings.
I need that.
Yeah.
They were like heroes to us, you know. That's how we looked at them.
Right there to where I didn't want to be friendly. Replacements coming in because, God, I didn't like seeing them get killed. It just tore me up.
My 10-man squad that I was in, 8 were replacements.
Holland.
There was a mass drop. Everybody was dropping on the same field.
Daytime drop's a lot easier.
Damn.
It's so cool.
Just mad at him.
Continually losing helmets and equipment, and all this equipment's raining down. Hit with this, you're gonna be killed or wounded before you get off the drop zone.
No cap,
Drop a
that
fucking
bag,
bag.
a leg bag. Nah, if you get hit with one of those, you finish.
Few German troops that were to secure this bridge, plenty of time to set their charges to blow the thing up.
I was maybe 150 yards away. It blew up in our faces.
What a way to die in combat, to be killed with a flying timber.
But once we got in, the Dutch, it was just marvelous. Their reaction. They loved Americans and still do, coming in there and pushing the Germans out.
They had that parade.
Yeah, and then they left, and then something happened to the
They called us
town.
angels from the sky, which we were. You were under German occupation for 4 years. Horrible. When you see paratroopers come out of the sky on Sunday morning. Who are they? They were angels.
Their welcome was unbelievable.
Oh, that's tough.
Restrained there. How happy they were to see you.
Bro, you hit by the fucking tank, boy.
And they hugged you and kissed you, and we didn't mind. You know, naturally, we was young.
Yeah.
Proud to see us to the point where it was dangerous for us. Snipers did some damage in a situation like that.
We're sitting right on the Rhine River, and Germany's right across the river, you know. They're fighting like heck to keep us out of Germany.
At their will, shell us, put mortar fire on us when they had an target of opportunity.
Boy, that shit blow your eardrums.
When it blows, it goes up like that. Went through my arm and hit me in the head, and I was bleeding pretty good.
My rifle and put my helmet on it and put it over. No action, so I sort of peeked over. I see a hand there with a potato masher, and he threw it at me. My helmet bounced off. I hollered out to the guys below.
If Lesniewski hadn't hollered live grenade that hit my rifle and is laying right in front of me, in my face practically, I know I'd either had my head blown off or I would have definitely been blind. It exploded and then it caught me in the face, neck, left arm, under the arm, in the shoulder blade.
While the grenades are rolling down or landing wherever they were hitting some of the crowds. Because I could hear screaming, hollering, crying, you know. I think I threw the 8 grenades in about 4 seconds.
That boy was letting jaws loose.
Doctor that counted the holes in me down at Nijmegen said it was 32.
Bro, 32? That's how fast it could be over.
Shot out and hit that man.
Anti-personnel, airburst, that was the bad ones when the shell went up over your head.
Bro, have that rain down on you?
Huge mushroom cloud from the shell. Joe Toy stepped out of it. I ran up and I grabbed him. And he said, "Oh, don't touch me. I'm hit all over." He said, "I'm bad." I said, "Okay." Bad as he was hurting, Joe Toy. Heffron, I already checked him. He's gone. Jim Campbell might be alive today. If he hadn't have said to me, "Heffron, you stay here with your gun. I'm going up." And I never, I sleep on it, I eat on it, I never forgot that. And anybody that went through it, I'm going to tell you the same thing. They can't, so bad all your life. You got to remember what one guy did because he thought it was his job to do, and he took a shot for you.
That's unheard of. Damn, man. It's put like a different perspective on the show.
Seeing this beforehand, you can kind of like walk through it in your head where they were when they're talking.
So yeah, after watching it, you know exactly what scenes they're talking about.
Yeah.
And what like episode it was too.
It just hit different because it's coming from them, like the actual people that the characters are based off of.
This is the last desperate action of the Germans turned the tide of this whole war.
If you know, you know. That's Stone.
Them boys was really in the trenches.
You know, it would have been great if we wouldn't have watched it, All Quiet on the Western Front, after all this.
This is Bojack's Woods, right?
Them boys linked up.
There's the woods. These trees might have been replanted. Look how straight I think if the trees look like they did in 44 and 45, we could get a better idea.
I'm wearing my uniform every day. I earned this one.
Oh, this is definitely.
I can't believe people really be like wearing fake uniforms. You ever see videos like that when they be catching people wearing fake uniforms?
Field where those cattle are grazing.
About a half a mile away to be.
Yeah, we had an outpost set up, looking right into the town of Foy. We had our foxholes right over here, and the other area, where.
That's when my man Spears took over where it ran. It was moving.
Most intense I went through right here. Shelling. Most intense in the world. You couldn't believe it. You had to be here.
Dove in the hole and just pray. That's it. We lost Muck and Pentella over on this side.
Yeah.
They were killed instantly. Direct hit, 88.
Direct hit right in the hole. Just made mincemeat out of them.
Georgie Ludge come over and he hollered, I can't see nothing of them. There's nothing there. They were all gone, just disintegrated.
The men, the times, good and bad. A lot of memories.
It was the most miserable place I've ever been in my life, even today. On a real cold night, we go to bed and
this is one of the parts they put in there.
The Germans wanted to get Bastogne because of the road network. So that's where we had to hold, which we did.
We were short of equipment. We didn't have enough ammunition. We didn't have enough warm clothes. We had confidence our higher military authorities would get to us whatever we needed. There was very little information, only that the Germans had broken through.
pitch weapons up to the truck, and you catch a weapon, that's what you got until you got to Bastogne.
There's some men actually got on the trucks and left for Bastogne and didn't have a rifle.
Well, that's a death sentence, boy. You can't even protect yourself.
They were beat to enough, and every one of them were telling us, you know, they're going to kill everybody. They're running over everybody.
To set up defensive lines and to stop the Germans. They said they couldn't be stopped.
Asking the guys that's retreating, you got any extra ammunition?
Oh, yeah, we saw that. Grabbing everybody's stuff.
We marched through the night and went up to the forward side of Bastogne and dug in, and then it snowed.
Winter clothing or nothing. That's where a third of the doggone casualties was. Frostbite or trench foot or whatever you want to call it.
What's happened to Toy?
A lot of snow, a lot of everything you didn't like.
In Belgium, the trees are planted. You look down a road and you can see a half a mile. Germans knew right where we were, and they really gave us a shellacking.
You'd be surprised how quick you can get through that hard ground when somebody's shooting at you and them shells are falling.
In the ground that's frozen, it takes quite a while. You just chip it out. And by the time you get it done, they whistle for you to, we're moving out. And you go someplace else and dig another one.
Oh my gosh.
We went through a couple of shellings at Bastogne that were earth-shaking. If you lived through them, you remember them for the rest of your life, and I'm not sure you're the same for the rest of your life after you've lived through them.
In the arm with a piece of shrapnel, took his arm off above the elbow. Taking him out, he said, get my wristwatch off of my arm. And I calm voice and everything, get my wristwatch off of my arm.
Another day at the office for that boy, he's different. I'd have been screaming.
I think in those instances, you won't scream because you're in so much shock. That just gonna be happening so fast, you don't even know what happened. Can't even scream.
And as we hit the woods, why this tremendous artillery attack came.
Bro, I know that shit was so loud. You see how fast they putting them
big them Johns is, boy?
Take 2 people to put that in.
Point blank 88s into our area.
They were letting us have it.
You gotta think how big a 7.62 bullet is. Them just 88s.
It scared the hell. I mean, I was scared, but I think I was petrified then.
So I was crouched down in that foxhole. From about my nose up was above the ground. I could see all these shells hitting.
That's when the tree and stuff fell. And I think this is when Toy and Garnier got
Garnier
hit.
lost a leg, and Joe Toy lost a leg in the same place right there on one hill.
Joe said, Jesus Christ, what do I have to do to die? I went out to see what I could do for him. Bongo, I got it too.
He was holding his leg and it was jerking like that. He said, Lip, they got old Garnier this time. He had been hit before, but they really got him there.
We got him out of there. They brought a Jeep down, and we put him on stretchers, and I better not talk about it. Yeah, better not talk about it. They're terrible.
Those are sights they never forget. That's why they hate talking about it or never talk about it.
When a man was wounded, we felt glad for them. We felt happy for them. He had a ticket to get out of there and maybe a ticket to go home. And when we had a man who was killed, was at peace, and he looked so peaceful. We're glad that he found peace.
Assistant squad leader named Mallet. This was in Bastogne. He says, I've been through Normandy and went through Holland, and to this day, he says, I haven't got one scratch. He says, I'm afraid when I do get it, I'm really going to get it. He was right. In this little town of Foy, he got killed. You just live from day to day, keep your fingers crossed, and that was it.
They went through so much.
You can tell some of them, I wouldn't say a stronger mental, but they're able to disassociate from it a little bit more than some others, because some of them, it's hitting them real hard to even talk about it.
It is a great personal honor to take part in a ceremony that is unique in American history. Never before has a full division in the name of the President for gallantry in action. This day marks the beginning of a new tradition. With that tradition, therefore, will always be associated the name of the 101st Airborne Division and of Bastogne.
The Germans had started to surrender. They still had their arms. Our job is to get to the end and get to the heart of it. Berchtesgaden, it's the end of the line. It's the retreat that Hitler had for himself.
I know that John is beautiful.
To, I'm sure, relax and confer. Staff, they all followed him. This was their final retreat. This is the place to capture. This is the one everybody wanted.
We took Berchtesgaden May the 5th. No fighting, no shooting.
It was a beautiful country. He knew how to pick out a good spot for a house.
Loot of all kinds that the men were looking for, such as gun,
Luger,
money that they were looting,
including some postcards and envelopes that were addressed to Hitler.
That place was full of this big art, Rembrandt, and all those hanging on the wall, you know.
You always take them John back, sell it for so much money, or just keep it because it's like, it's a souvenir from the war.
Untold millions are included.
Millions?
Treasures will go back to rightful owners in pillaged nations.
Nah, I need that.
It's like when Nixon walked into all that alcohol, that cellar.
Vodka and stuff like that. It wasn't much whiskey. Those people don't like whiskey.
Had 7 truckloads of champagne and cognac out of the wine cellars out of
7 truckloads.
7 trucks?
Stayed pretty well oiled for a while.
Oh, that champagne was good. Ooh, it's good.
That boy got the
bang
whole
in there.
cart.
That's Nixon?
I went to the barracks, went to sleep. I didn't wake up the next day, and it didn't taste like it would hurt you.
That was the only time that I can ever remember that the whole company fell out in their underwear.
They're enjoying themselves. They're at peace with the world. Paradise for a soldier to move into. I had no problem with looting because of the fact that I had come down through Germany and I had seen the Holocaust and I had seen what the Germans had done and what they had done in their occupation of France. So that by taking over their homes for a few nights to bed down my men, and if they picked up a few trinkets, I had no problem.
That's when Spears was telling the lady to get out. We're staying here for a few days. They got more boy Spears on the job? That boy working.
We'll talk about that when we get there. Well, here we are. We got it. Now, how do you handle this?
Because a lot of them probably wanted to kill him.
Yeah. You can't
25,000.
They came down in formation. They marched down. They didn't drag down, you know, or nothing like that.
That's what I was saying in the show. Them boys had their heads held high coming down that journey.
Yeah, like even though that they lost.
Probably the evilest people in the world. As the war went along, we found out also that it wasn't the Germans' SS and special troops. They were the...
Boy was looking mean mugging the camera.
German soldier was not that way.
He's so young.
And I've got a Catholic good enough to stick one of these in his pocket.
That's O'Keefe.
That man and I might have been good friends. We might have had a lot in common. We might have liked to fish, you know. He might have liked to hunt. Of course, they were doing what they were supposed to do.
Remember he kept calling him O'Brien? He's like, the name's O'Keefe.
Under different circumstances, we might have been good friends.
I have a great deal of respect for them as soldiers. They were very good soldiers.
They were just on the other side. Mm-hmm.
I was assigned this major, and when he walked in, he presented me this pistol.
Oh, he did
Still
take
got
the pistol.
it.
Offered his personal surrender.
Remember he told him to keep the pistol.
Yeah.
Which naturally I accepted gratefully.
So that's something that they got wrong.
The end of the war for his men, and this is basically the end of the war for my men.
And then he told them, like, what are we going to do now that we're not in war?
That I realized this pistol had never been fired. That's the way all wars should end, with an agreement with no blood on it. And I assure you, this pistol has never been fired since I've had it.
And he did right by that, though. Never fire it.
Yeah.
Come home and, you know, I was a war hero. And I just come home, went back to like we did before we went.
Went to work for a coal company.
Did some bartending and ran a pool hall.
A letter carrier for 37 years.
I built homes. I went into construction. I went into hard work.
But gonorrhea funny.
And I went with the CIA in Washington.
Got my degree in 1948.
Got a job working for Nixon Nitration Works.
$75
a week.
We have a lot of other wealth that means more than that.
Those memories.
Everyone done well. I done well too.
The boy did construction with a missing leg.
That's what I was saying.
He's different.
I want to welcome each and every
Their
one
reunion.
of you to our banquet tonight. Celebrate the ending of a fine reunion. Thank you all for coming.
That boy dripped out Ric Flair fly.
We relive some of the Army experiences.
2 years apart.
Great respect, you might say,
Damn.
affection for each other. Affection that you get when you've lived through many dangerous situations together.
1998.
Today, as soon as you see him, you know you're thinking of battles and thinking of it to yourself.
Them boys just dripped out. Press clean.
We're a strange bunch of dudes as far as I'm concerned.
You crazy.
Those are the best groups though. When everybody their own character and everybody just fit in somehow.
My youth now. When I get to these guys, I'm back when I went to service. I'd like to make 20 more reunions.
Yeah.
My family didn't know anything about it, and I just didn't tell them. I just figured it's something that didn't need talking about. It was done, over with.
We didn't know Shifty the way the men know Shifty.
It was like that was another life. I didn't even, you know, it didn't even dawn on me that he'd killed people.
That's the biggest thing I think for people.
He's a good guy. He's a real strong guy. We travel a lot, France, into that cemetery. It's just crosses upon crosses and just lined up perfectly.
That's what we saw on Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
These were people that I knew. This guy here died at age 19 or 20. A whole life, never lived. No family, no opportunity to have some satisfaction of building a life, nothing.
When I went there, I said, Dad, oh my gosh, Dad, you were so lucky. He looked at me and he said, yeah, I'm very lucky, and he started crying.
These guys have been with each other in an absolute...
Man, toy. Damn, this shit about to make me cry, bro. No cottage on head.
Knowing you're gonna die, or thinking you're gonna die, or seeing people dying all around you.
Yeah, man.
I admire that. It held my father even on his tombstone as Sergeant Joe Toy, 506 PIR, 101st Airborne Division. That's what he wanted on his tombstone. It meant that much to him.
506, man.
Yeah, it'd be hard to talk about that because, like, bro, that's you going to war, like, necessarily just for your country. You do things that you really wouldn't want to do in regular life. So, like, killing somebody, you really wouldn't want to talk about those times when you had to do something, but you just had to do it, though. And those
Think
times.
about your God more than anything else. Think about most of them every day. Etched in your memory, I guess. You'll never leave either.
I wore that eagle on my right shoulder for 18 years. Probably the proudest thing having been in Easy Company 506.
The ones that are buried in the cemeteries, those are the true heroes, not us. And we thank God we got back alive.
How would you like to be a mother or a father whose son never come back? The son and the mother and father are the heroes of the Second World War. Aren't the guys that come home?
I don't believe there's very, very, very few heroes that came back from the war. They're still over there.
Do you remember the letter that Mike Raney wrote me?
Yeah, we saw this part.
The memories of a question my grandson asked me the other day. Grandpa, were you a hero in the war? Grandpa said no, but I served in a company of heroes.
Dang, that hit right there, man.
Look at all the names, that's so tough.
RIP to all the heroes, man.
Oh god, that joint's so crazy.
I thought they was about to do something like Lone Survivor. I was gonna have to cut it off, boy. Teared up in here, man.
Get them boys they time on screen, man. Deserve.
Muck.
Kankala.
Yeah.
That's just Easy Company. Man, bro, that's insane.
Joe Toy, oh, there was a big Mick, and we used to have a few beers at night, and I'd sing, Garnier, you're Italian, you don't know this song. Garnier could sing it better than he did. Bridget O'Flynn. Bridget O'Flynn, where have you been? Sure, it's a fine time.
That boy got a vocal.
I was about to say, oh, sing it a little bit.
Sure, the big parade I never took so long in passing by. Look at you.
He probably heard that joint a million times.
If you know anyone that owns a canoe, stay away from the water, Bridget, darling. You only needed a sissel of beer. 2 beers, you were drunk.
He was getting too straight to it.
2 beers, you were high as Georgia Pine.
The joint was shooting that joint through the system. Yeah, so that was the end of We Stand Alone Together, basically wrapping up the Band of Brothers in its entirety. And this was the great way to end off, like you guys were saying in the comments. It was just a beautiful way that they were able to get all of the remaining Easy Company soldiers together and tell their story. They did it beautifully. They let them speak through it. They let their emotions run. You know, they didn't cut that out because that's the most important part, is that, you know, these guys went over into that war and sacrificed a lot. So those emotions are a big part of, you know, the journey that they traveled. So to see them on here talking through certain stories, even though it was difficult for some people to talk through them, it really put an importance on why everyone should be learning about this history. And it's because so many people sacrifice their lives for the freedom of the country. And yeah, so like I said, beautifully done. It was good to watch this after Band of Brothers, because like me and Spitz were saying during this reaction, we could piece together scenes within Band of Brothers, the TV show, on instances of where they were talking about certain stories. We could piece it together within the TV show and actually remember, you know, this specific incident when they spoke about it. So it was really cool to hear the soldiers actually speak through some of those stories, because it just puts more of an emphasis on, you know, how they were carried out and what really happened, because you can get so twisted in that it's just a TV show that you're watching and not really understand that these are real stories that are being told or that were reflected in the film. So to hear it and remember certain scenes, it really, you know, puts a importance and emphasis on how well done the Band of Brothers series was done. So appreciate this film, loved it all the way through. And like we said towards the end of this reaction, RP to all the heroes that didn't make it back home and that also did make it home. Even though they say the real ones didn't make it home, everyone that was a part of this operation, you know, played their part, and they did a great job at doing it. So like I said, RP to all the heroes and to all the remaining. We hope that they're blessed and living a good life.
Boy, they all dead, boy.
I'm not sure, so I'm just saying if there is any. I'm not.
But love this whole series since the first episode when they brought us to the introduction, and we met Sobel and all of them, to, you know what I mean, the ending of it, and us seeing them be able to go home, go back to their lives, and basically, like, you know what I mean, just try to figure out life from a different perspective after going to war was amazing to see. And then to see the actual soldiers, to hear them tell their stories is much different than you know what I mean, the characters that played them telling it in the show. And just kind of see their bond, and to see the reunion part was good to see them joking around and being able to laugh and be around each other. Something that I did say or noticed that it started to get smaller, the pictures that they took. It could have just been like the people that they showed during the pictures, but you know what I mean, as time goes on, people pass away and it gets harder for people to make those reunions. So I'm just happy that we got to dive into this. I don't get to experience this, but not only just with us, but to bring it for you guys as well, because you guys definitely, from the feedback, all the love, the comments that you guys showed, it seems that you guys enjoyed our reactions to it. We just hope that we were able to, you know what I mean, give you guys, or give off the impression that we truly, you know what I mean, gave that respect for the people that played the roles within the war, you know what I mean, because we just, you know what I mean, that's just how we are, and they deserve that respect for what they did and sacrifice. So if you guys want to, you know what I mean, jump in the comments, have any more questions, talk about anything, give us some feedback or insight on anything, you guys definitely can. One thing that I did pick up on was they definitely did care about each and every person that was in the company and that was around them, and you could just see it from the expressions, the emotions that they displayed when talking about certain people, and also talking about the replacements. The sad scenario for the replacements, due to the fact that they come into the war and, you know what I mean, they want to, you know what I mean, make that imprint. They want to earn their stripes, earn their respect, and by doing so, they were usually the ones, like they were saying, that they were the first ones to, you know what I mean, pass away during the war, because they were trying to prove themselves, you know what I mean, they put themselves in harm's way. So rest in peace to everyone that played the role, everyone that went to war, to all the families that had to deal with, you know what I mean, those sacrifices that the soldiers made. And then for the people that, like Sheem said, made it back, had to figure out life, you know what I mean, after that. It's crazy that the boy Winters was, him and Buck was close to us, man. So I know a lot of people said that there's a museum, or their graves are in Ephrata, I believe, and there's a museum in Hershey or somewhere close to us. So at some point we are gonna, you know what I mean, most likely go check that out, see how that is. I was thinking about if we could turn that into like a vlog or something, so the people that can't experience it, that's too far away or can't make that trip, you guys can experience that as well. So we'll keep you guys updated, let you guys know. But we appreciate y'all, man. If you enjoyed the reaction, make sure you like the video, comment down below, let us know your thoughts on it. Hit the subscribe button, the bell icon, so you're notified when we drop these videos. We appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for all the love and support we've gotten this year. It's been tremendous. We just hit 10K, so thank y'all for that. But until the next video,
the kids reacted.